The Magic Midget, I like that nickname. Incidentally, Forsyth has offered AJ a 2-year deal. RPM understands at this point he only wants to sign a 1-year agreement. Either way, he's got a big future ahead of him in open wheelers. Now, engineers, they often joke about drivers as being the nut behind the steering wheel. In Formula One, you almost need a degree to understand and operate all the functions on what is a very expensive piece of equipment, as Neil Crompton discovered when he joined the Honda team for a day.
Yeah, well, this is where I spend most of my time looking at. Basically, you've got your main screen on the front there, and this tells you your gears and different modes that you can be in. So like your traction control or differential will come up on this middle display there. Yeah, it's quite intricate, but if I give a quick run through, I'll try not to confuse you too much. You've got your traction control button at the top left, and basically one press of this, and then it will come up on your display. From there you can go plus or minus from 0 to 8, 8 being more effective, 0 being less effective. So 0 is actually completely turned off. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you wanted to do a bit of old school.
Yeah, maybe to warm the tyres prior to the start of the race, because we've seen a couple of fellas get themselves in strife in that regard.
Well, actually, there's a completely separate button for that. Jumping ahead of ourselves, it's down here, TC Trip. One press of this and the TC is completely disactivated. You can then spin up the wheels like you said, and try not to spin on your warm-up lap. Yeah, but
not naming names.
You've got your main display button top left. This goes through all your different modes. We have a running clock on there as well for testing. You can see how close you are to time of end of day, and also like lunch breaks, different parts of the day. See if you can get enough runs in, but also it comes in most valuable for the race weekends themselves. On the Friday when I've been running, you can see just how long you've got of the session to go and how far you've gone into it. This is a lot like your car radio, basically. You know where the buttons are just by feel, and a lot of the time you don't have to look down. You hear a lot of people say, oh, how can you remember where the radio is here? If you hold that down, you can speak for as long as you want and just sort of flick it back when you're finished. But you know where that is by feel. And as with all these different buttons on here, it's not really taking up a lot of your thought process. It's just reaction that gets you through. You've got your pit lane limiter button. One press of this slows the car down to the disciplined speed that they've thrown at you for the weekend, and that only works from 3rd gear down. Any higher than that, so you can actually activate it while you're in 4th or 5th gear, and once you hit a certain speed, then it holds the car at that speed. It won't allow it to go any quicker. You have your neutral button just under that. That only works from 2nd gear downwards. So coming into the pits for your pit stop, one press of that and you're in neutral. Pull up into your pit box or your garage space, and then you can just turn the car off. With the kill switch here, which is shrouded for obvious reasons. Takuma Sato had a bit of a moment there at Silverstone by accidentally pressing this button instead of this button. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, that just instantly kills the car's engine. Lots of people think it might be there for other reasons, but that is...
Yeah. It's not a command. No. It's not a command. It's actually something to turn the car off.
Exactly. Yeah. You have an overtake button here just to increase a few RPM. You can sort of boost your way past other cars, hopefully. And the drinks button, which is pretty vital in countries other than England.
Won't get used to this weekend.
Probably not, no. And then you've got your main rotor here, which will take you through, say, your throttle maps, your gearbox mode, your volume for your radio, your rain light, mixture mode for the engine, and that all comes up in your middle display there as well. We spend most of our time looking at the middle display for our lap time, our current lap time measured against our fastest of the day. So it's pretty clever how it channels it through the lap. It's just a live time, live read.
And this pit confirm is when you've got the radio message that you're in next lap, which I guess you're simulating these things in test, and you're doing it on the Fridays, of course, as well. Is that just to confirm that the message has come through clearly without you having to acknowledge on the radio, or?
Exactly. I mean, back in the pit garage, you have the big rigs where they've got all the telemetry, and basically one press of this button will activate that, let them know that you've heard their command or your pit confirm. and lots of different teams do it a different way. Some have just a button where it says OK or confirm any message you hear on the radio, because radio coverage isn't that great really on these cars. On a big long circuit like Silverstone, or say like Spa, where you used to go up through the trees and stuff, it's your radio signal's limited, and one press of this, it's a bit like sending a text message on the phone. It will get there,
no matter what.
You know, regardless of where you are on the circuit.
Do you have a figure for it? As a driver, you probably don't have one, but I'll bet it's worth at least a decent Honda Euro Accord.
I think that's pretty much it, yeah. I don't really know, but the thing is, it's the man-hours that it takes to build one. That's the main thing. It's like the engines, you know, they don't really put a price on them, because it's just a one-off piece of kit that's just taken hundreds and hundreds of hours, man-hours, to make, and that's where the valuable expense is.
Thanks for the quick steering wheel tour.
No problem.
Well, that all looks incredibly confusing for a steering wheel to me, but we'll take a break right now on RPM, and when we return, Tasman Motorsport opens its...